everybody, this is Christine with Coco Daisy. So let's talk a little bit about something that is a bit of a passion project for me, and I am thrilled with how it turned out. Super excited to share this with you, and it is a junk journal. This is in our creative kit for September. You're getting a fantastic, amazing deal on this that it's included in the kit, because normally the retail price on this is way more than what we should do be putting it in a kit. The quality is amazing. But I wanted to get this out there. I wanted to introduce you guys to this. That's what the creative kit is all about, is introducing you to new ideas and new things. And if you all love these, I will keep doing them. We will make some more of this one. I love it. But let me give you a little bit of the backstory of how and why this came to be. So back in my newspaper days, when I was about 22, so a long time ago, I managed the art department at a newspaper. We had a sister company that was the print shop. And they obviously would get print sample books of different papers. And they would those sample books were always impressive because, of course, they're using them as a sales tool. And they would get outdated and they would just throw them away. Well, being the creative scrapbooker was even back then, I thought they would make fantastic mini albums. And so I would take them all. And what I loved is they would have, and this is one of them, they would have all of these sections of different papers and different types of papers. And they would print things on these papers. They would be textures. They would be, some of them would be, what's the word I'm looking for? Some of them would have vellum. Some of them would have, obviously, type on them. And I loved them. I loved that they were already bound. This was one of my absolute favorites because I loved the color on it. And actually, this one was, I believe, even published at one time. So, yeah, that's cool. But anyway, so what I did, I went through, I added a bunch of things in here, photos, patterned papers. I cut things out, added embellishments, and I created a kind of a junk journal or a mini album out of this. And so I'm just going to page through this, and I'm just going to show you some things, and it's going to make sense then where this came from, right? You can see I've always loved circles. I talk about that all the time. I love the idea of layering pages in a way where you see a peek of something else that's coming, or you see those layers and those textures kind of built in. So you can see that I did that here. I did that in here when I did a couple examples in our new junk journal. This is my son Nate when he was just a little guy, long time ago. I added the patterned paper, more punched circles, photographs. And then you can see here how I love all of these different layers. And you can see where I did this. I punched that same circle twice. And so when you page through it, you get all of these great layers. Now, it's something that, having scrapbooked for a long time and made a ton of mini albums, those ideas are kind of normal for me. That's an easy thing for me to think of. I understand that a lot of people are new to junk journaling. They're new to mini albums. And so I wanted to take some of these design ideas and kind of make it start it out for you in a way. And that's why there's layers in here. so that it kind of gets you going in that direction and helps you flex that design muscle a little bit. And so I'm just going to page through here and just kind of show you some of the things that I did. You can also add pages to your junk journal. You can take pages out. You can cut pages down to different widths, different lengths. You can layer them that way. You can move them around. I'll show you that in a minute. I love that picture of Zachy. And again, I love all of these layers. There's some overlays in here. Just lots and lots of these fun little nature pictures. Love that one. You can do mixed media in these. So if you want to add a little bit of paint, you want to add some stamping, you can do that. Super, super fun. You can keep it simple, but you can add as much as you want. I love that idea too. But you can just see how, and this is what I'm talking about, how you have these layers. How fun is that? You see this little peak of things and they layer over top of each other. I just think it adds so much interest when you page through something. It slows you down too. Like you're not just quickly paging through because you want to look at all the bits and pieces and all of the things. And I think that makes it really, really fun to do. So again, this was actually just part of the album. These, you can just see there was even some braille on there, which I thought was really, really neat. You can get different punches for spiral binding. I am not sure where. I'm sure you can find them on Amazon or whatnot. But again, you don't need one because I'll show you what everything that's included. And then that is the back page. So that's the album that I created. And it was from just a leftover sample book. And that's the inspiration for this. Now, the fun thing is this is my mock-up that I created. And I went through, I printed out our different sheets, kind of laid them out, got an idea what I wanted, and was super in love with it. Some of you can see where I had something had to be fixed and moved and so on. But this was my original little mock-up. I just kind of did my own binding on there. And Jamie, one of my designers, did a fantastic, she took what was in my head and did just a fantastic job. We pulled some of our favorite papers from the past, some of our favorite designs, and put them in here. So this is 60 pages. It is 5 by 7. The front and back covers are kind of a heavyweight, almost a laminate cardstock. So there's some durability there. There's a wonderful spiral binding. And then as you go through, now the first two sections, I want to make a note here, have pictures and stuff on. I've added the pictures. The pages are in here already. You don't have to add anything other than pictures and journaling, okay? So this card, for instance, is in here. This piece of vellum is in here. This card is in here. This card, it's all in there. All you're doing is adding your pictures and your journaling. So we added these. I added the little words there. I punched the circle in here, going back to the example. So the layers are kind of already in here for you. All you've got to do is add your bits and pieces, right? Now, one of the things I wanted to mention is all of the pages in this final book are all down to the bottom, okay? That was just how they had to do it to manufacture it. I wanted to move this page up. Very simply, all I had to do was go through and snip in between each spiral, and you actually can move these around. And now I don't remember where I had it, but you can put them back in. So you can move your pages around by doing that if you want. I did that with one of the pieces of vellum as well. So it makes it easy to do that. Like I said, you just go with a little piece of, a thin pair of scissors and just snip the page in between, and it's really, really easy to do. Then you can move the page around. I added one of the deco cards, the note cards from the creative kit, the little die cuts from the creative kit, and then I added a large photograph on some of the blank sheets. So each section will have these layered bits and then some just kind of plain full-size sheets. These are meant for you to do whatever you want with them. Like I said, you could cut them down, you could cut them in a shorter strip, add those layers, you could progressively cut them down, you can add pattern paper to them, you can do whatever you want. You can remove them if you don't want that many pages in between, but these then give you the freedom to add your own thing. Then you go on to the next section, and it has this paper, it has this sheet of vellum, it has this page here that says time to take a break, it has this thin piece of craft paper, this brick patterned paper, and then we go back to the plain sheets again. So you can see what I did here again. This piece, this vellum, right? I did the same thing I did on the other one. I cut this one so that I could move it. It was behind this paper. I wanted it on front because I wanted to cut the little circle out. So it's the same idea. These rub-ons are from the creative kit. That deco card is. So you can move these around just by simply doing that little snip and pulling them out and repositioning them. But the work really is kind of all done for you. So you can see, again, I added a large photograph. You could do some journaling on there. And then you go on to this next section. So you can see these cards are already all in here. You have another sheet of vellum. You have all of these great layers and textures and patterns. How adorable is that, right? Then you go back to, again, more of the grid, the dot grid, and the lined paper. And then we have some of my absolute favorite from the Doodles and Dashes, right? We love that collection. This Create. There's a small card, there's a beautiful texture, and this lends itself to that whole mixed media. You could stitch on these, you could staple on these, you could paint on these. They're a nice heavyweight. I think it would be so fun to splatter some ink on these pages. I can totally see my friend Rhonda doing all of that with this. And then you have this section, which again has the adorable printed vellum, kind of fun for travel. You could use this whole thing for travel if you wanted to. You could really use, we kept it generic enough that this junk journal could be used for really any theme, I think. This was from, I don't remember the name of the collection, but I don't know if it was last year or the year before. I think it was 2 years ago. The beautiful wood grain. There's a piece of thinner black cardstock in here. And then again, your blank pages. Love the little photo moments worth remembering. Some of that one. I think that was it was pen and ink, maybe. It's one of my other favorite collections. There's a thin piece of the vellum. And again, remember, if you snip that carefully, you can move it and reposition it. The beautiful ledger paper. There's another piece of craft paper in here. And then you end with some more of the plain one. So there is so much that you could do with this. And again, it is all set up for you. It is a great jumping off point, a great way for you to dive into the world of junk journaling, of mini album making. I'm so excited to see what you guys do with these. Some of our creative team has already started running with it, and they're having a blast with it. But I really wanted to take a minute and let you know the backstory on where this came from. I think it's really, really kind of fun to see. And, you know, leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. If you're excited about this, if you want to see more of this, Hit like, subscribe. Again, leave me a note. I'm super, super excited about it. I can't wait to keep adding to mine. Definitely foresee some stamping in there, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.